Buonasera. Already the 13 live viewers. I think they're onto us that we're starting earlier and earlier. It's winter time. It's cold. We start early. The kids are in bed. It's
They
starting
have
to
their
get dark.
notifications on.
No,
That's what
no,
we need. Notifications, subscribers, shares, retweets. Let's go.
and on that note, Stevie P, let's get the show on the road, shall we?
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
You are listening to the Milan Weekly Podcast, the English voice of Radio Rossonera and Milan fans all over the world.
Rafael Leao produces a moment of utter magic.
Che sì, ed è gol!
Teo Hernandez al volo! Teo Hernandez, ancora lui, una meraviglia! Ibrahimovic! Zlatan Ibrahimovic, fuori classe assoluto!
Cari amici sportivi, welcome yet to another edition of the Milan Weekly Podcast, episode 219. To be exact, here we talk everything Milan. More lost points this week, Milan, and no, we ain't gonna blame injuries, Milan. And well, we're not professionals.
Nor do we pretend to be.
Welcome, everybody. Yes, Frank saying that I'm the lethal weapon, Steve Blackman from WWF back in the day. Welcome, everybody. Liban there, always one of the first ones. Yes, guys, we're starting it a little early. It's been quite the week. We have lots of things to talk about, but before we do, as per usual, we got our housekeeping stuff, correct, Steve? So I'm just going to start off by saying that's the last week before the toy and food drive. Our GoFundMe is on the comments. Just want to take the time to say once again, toy and food drive this year Sunday, non-perishables toys. We will be there just before Milan play Napoli. Then we're going to head in to Chicharo's to watch the game. And I just want to take the time to say thanks, Steve, to my cousin Johnny, my friend Josie, Gio's all over the place. Group Magri even taking the time to say Vince, Steve, and Marcello do incredible work. Keep it up, guys. Even Marcello gets in there. Mark Strupa from even Patreon donation. Ralib from Milan Club Montreal, and my mom with the donation today, which brings us up, Stevie P, to we are at $355 so far. So whatever we gather, gonna go directly to the groceries, and we will be there on Sunday, Steve. And it looks like it's gonna be good weather. So
Very nice. Very nice. Thank you to everybody.
even there's the link as well for our Milan Weekly Pod t-shirt in the links as well. And what else do we have in housekeeping, Steve? What am I missing here? Oh, sorry. Thank you to our brand new Patreon member, Steve. He goes by Iron Cut, but I saw his name. It's an India. Hope I'm saying that correctly. From India, and he's in the Netherlands studying, said he's been following us for a long while. Just wanted to support. So thank you to you. And Steve, anything else off the top? Because we do have lots to go through.
No.
That's about it. So hope my voice is better on the recordings. Presidente, let me know because I have to do some settings
The
adjustments.
spikes are good, Vinny. The spikes are good tonight.
Steve, you want to touch base on Tuesday's Champions League game before we get into that game from yesterday? What do you want to start with?
We could start with the Champions League and then get it out of the way.
I was actually a little proud of myself, Steve. I was doing like a real podcaster, and I was writing down notes. I'm like, we're gonna be talking about it. So this is the notes that I took up to when we started going downhill. But I did write that found it very nice that Mike Manjone, as you like to call him, was wearing all white in the Champions League. I like that. That's got to go for a coup de cœur, as we would say. I wrote down 20 minutes in. I didn't see Ibrahimovic so far. This was 20 minutes in. I wrote Tomori a beast so far. This was in the 23rd minute. Commentary just hating on us, saying we're not giving any pressure. Wrote down Romagnoli, also very big in the 34th minute. And then I just wrote me, Kessie mistake. In the end, Steve, I wrote what Peppe Bergomi said mancavi i giocatori giusti, quelle 1 o 2, quel giocatore giusto di qualità per fare male a questa squadra in campo. I found that, he just said, he goes, yeah, you're missing the 1 or 2 players. And in the end, not only, okay, the commentators, they love to hit on the Italians, that's fine. But Steve, we can't really say anything on, even if they wanted to shit on Milan.
No,
It's,
look, I don't want to say anything there, and I agree with Adamo. It's embarrassing, but there was, Gab Marcotti on. If you listen to ESPN and their critique of that, they had a panel of people that said it's embarrassing and embarrassing for Serie A. And I'm not even going to go into his rebuttal and what he destroyed them with. But yeah, you know what? For Milan, it was something that we thought that Liverpool was going to give us a little biscotto and let us play and let us do what we want. Guys, this is the Champions League, and there's no freebies here. And Milan was not going to get a freebie, and Milan didn't show up, and Milan has not been showing up for the past couple of weeks. And this is on us, and you have to just shut up as a Milan fan, and you have to take it. And you have to say, we need to do better. We need to grow. From the beginning, we got a lot of hate. Where do you think Milan finished? I thought they would finish third, just because I thought Atletico, it's not that they were a superior team. I think that just they were more for that Champions League moment at this time, and players that have already played in the Champions League. Liverpool, I think, was a class of their own.
Yeah.
And again, it comes down to everything went bad for us at the perfect time.
That game against Porto, Steve, right? It's that game against Porto.
The Porto, that's besides the point. Even now against Liverpool, we were joking in the chat, and I said, who will we bring in to create some offense in that game against Liverpool? Are we going to bring in Daniele Maldini? Guys, Daniele Maldini doesn't make Liverpool's academy.
Sad to say, but
you're right. That's unfortunately where we're at, right? So you have to also take into something that we've said multiple times on this podcast. It's, guys, you got to compare apples to apples. Unfortunately, now soccer's become a business of money. Liverpool have that money and can attract that talent. And unfortunately, Serie A is not doing their teams any favors.
What do you think about the comparison? A lot of people talking about Inter, first year when they won the Scudetto, they had finished fourth as well, but they won the Scudetto. I didn't see this as a very negative thing for Milan. I think it was a very how in Serie A in the last 2 years we've gotten lucky on some opportunities, right? We rode the wave for a long time. Sometimes even very. Sometimes not even warranting the win, but we're getting it done. And it looks like in Champions League, when we made a mistake, we paid. And when you didn't play to to what you're supposed to bring that up a notch, well, we're able to do it. And it's exactly the results that Milan got, and maybe a good look in the mirror for Milan, right, Steve?
Yeah, there's a couple of times that the quality of the players, and in a game, a magical moment, those couple of minutes that we had at Anfield where we took a 2-1 lead. That was not because Milan was outplaying Liverpool. That was just a magical moment, and I'm going to give credit to Milan for that couple of minutes. But then in the end, you see that class and you see that experience from Liverpool got them back in the game and won them the game. And more often than not, that's going to happen in European football. There's going to be the sheriff moments where they're beating, they're beating teams in their group like they did in this Champions League, and then end up not qualifying for the round of 16. There's going to be those Ajax moments where a young team, the Litz team, before he made that stupid move to Juventus, Ajax was making a run. And that's talent, right? And that's stuff that happens, and what makes Champions League great to watch, whether you're a Milan fan or not.
but still still rare, right? So for us to get
Still
into
rare.
those princess runs, but anyways, we shall see what happens. Are you happy? No Europa? Actually, it's probably one of the questions, so I'm not even gonna ask you, Steve. Uh, let's talk about uh, Saturday. It's been a several weeks in a row right now, not performing, dropping points. Steve, at first glance, the news that Pioli wasn't going to start Kessie, from what if we have to believe what we were reading about, hasn't liked Kessie's performances of late. Even there was somebody was checking his stats from last year to this year, very big drop in quality. So decided to put Bakayoko and Benassa. Did you have a problem at first seeing Bakayoko against a team like Udinese?
Yep.
What would you have done? Would you have gone with Kessie again, or would you have went with a Tonali, starting with Tonali
So I want to give credit. This comes from Alessandro Jacopone, and it's something that I've been thinking about a lot. And it's always the excuse, or we have to rotate, we have to rotate, we have to rotate. Right now, our best midfield duo, whether you guys like it or not, is Tonali and Kessie.
Mhm.
Tonali and Kessie should always be playing. And people are going to say, oh, but how could they play every single match? Guys, if you look across town to our cousins, Barella and Brozovic play every single game. So if they could play every single game, I don't think there'd be a problem for Tonali and Kessie to play every single game. And Benacer does not look like himself after having some decent performances. I think he's a bit off. And Bakayoko, I don't think he's even arrived at Milan yet. I think he's still stuck in Napoli. He still thinks that he's playing in Napoli.
It's forget forget his bad performance and the mistake that led to the goal. And once again, we make one mistake, and we get penalized. But Steve, Bakayoko is not the reason you don't have a single shot on target until the 90th minute, right?
Well, he's a good reason for it. You don't control the midfield. You can do whatever you want.
So
If you have a midfield of Bakayoko and Benacer who cannot create, and they know you cannot create, they will put all their eggs in one basket, and they're not afraid of Krunic, and they're not afraid of Salchicha Maker. They may be a bit afraid of Diaz, who also had a terrible performance.
yeah,
So they're a combination of the reason why we have 0 shots on goal. They are afraid of Ibra.
but yeah,
But
no ball buster up front. That's what it was. Like you didn't have that the Rebic and the layouts, and now it's like how
yeah, but then, no, no,
dependent.
but then now we're going to the excuse. We did not have them. You could not have them for this game.
Yeah,
So you can't find excuses. It's the players that are on the pitch.
well, we have no.
Salchicha Maker didn't do enough. Diaz didn't do enough. Ibra didn't do enough.
No.
Krunic didn't do enough.
And Krunic, he just gets thrown into the mix of like play here, play there, and people want to talk about the injuries and this and that, but you want to talk about injuries. That's fine. Everybody's got injuries, but it's not with this team that you go up against a team like Udinese. And I'm not saying Udinese has been playing good as of late, but Steve, the game just we never picked it up one notch. Not
It
in the
was a very
first.
boring game. It was one of those games where I was tempted to turn off the TV because I knew what the result was going to be. And again, it's I see Timmy in the chat saying we have no creativity up top, and he's 100% right. And Diaz was just not good enough. Diaz, we started off the season, he was playing well. He had about, if I'm not mistaken, I think he caught COVID and had to miss some games.
Mhm.
And as soon as he came back, it's like he lost his mojo. It's like the 10 is weighing on him even more. Not being able to find any continuity with any of the guys who are playing to the left or to the right of him. And behind him, unfortunately, this game, I have to give my flop to, I give my flop to Pioli,
Okay.
because in games like this where you need points and you come off, I'm gonna say, a disappointing result against Liverpool, you need to right the ship right away. You cannot
Yeah.
make things linger, and you cannot go even further into this downward spiral. There was no reason for us to see Bakayoko on this pitch. And again, I'm gonna include Benacer because he just wasn't as good as usual. And we lose the midfield. We have no creativity up top. We have these games like this where we're getting saved by our 40-year-old striker to grab a point.
I would have to agree with your flop on that one on Pioli. And it's very easy to say after the fact, oh, we could have put him and you could put him that. But in the end, I was going to give it to Diaz, Steve, because for me, you needed him to step it up as more of a shit disturber, like like try to create something, try to attract the players towards you to give that bit of space. But yeah, I would Diaz and Pioli for me, and to pick a top. Do we even have a top player for this one? Magic Mike and Nets at least, stretched himself a couple of times, but I don't see anybody on this pitch other than Castillo coming on like he back to his running like a chicken with his head cut off. But other than Magic Mike, Steve, do you even have a tops?
More than Magic Mike, no. Look, I think Tamori was okay as well. Uh, the usual suspects, they show up. Mike, Tamori, I think even Romagnoli wasn't even that bad, but
No.
that's because Udine wasn't that good. And again, this is the same thing that I told everybody, guys. Take it easy with your wins against Genoa and Salernitana because they're just that bad. And now we have to right the ship with possibly getting some guys back. I don't know what's going to happen for the Napoli game, but I saw maybe Leao might be able to make it. I doubt it. We'll probably see them more in the Empoli game.
Mhm.
But we're going against a team that's in a downward spiral as we are, if not worse than we are.
It's a scary game because both Napoli, yeah, like you're saying, bad games back to back. Milan too. How about Messias, Steve? Excuse me, Messias. Did you find that the way he came on? Why not maybe start him from the beginning? He was trying to create, but he looked all alone on that one. What an embarrassing moment there with the two. I don't know if you guys caught it there, misspelling of his name on his jersey. I'm like, I really don't know in this day and age how we could fuck these ones up. But did you think? How about him as a top?
Not even.
No, not even.
No.
So
This is again the frustration that I've had with Milan for the longest time. We're not deep enough. When we get into situations like this where we need to rotate and think that just the quality is not there.
Steve, we have Napoli, Napoli on Sunday. Hopefully, they will, not reward us by staying outside in the cold, going back to watch the game. Hopefully, it is a home game for Milan. But if we show up the way we showed up against Udinese, we're gonna get massacred. And Napoli again, losing to Empoli this week, having a couple of games with no results, even them. So, should be an entertaining game. Hopefully we do definitely show up, and not, as you can see there, Steve, one shot on target that arrived on the 92nd. When did we score? 92nd, 93rd.
92nd minute. It's terrible.
Did you want to add anything to this game? Any comments? Any more? Anything that? Just one of these. I just hope, Steve, the stretch of 3 games is not something we look back on at week 38 and go, remember those 3 games there that we
Oh, guaranteed we will.
we missed
Guaranteed
we
we will.
missed against Fiorentina, and these. This is a kind of game like against Fiorentina that look like we're actually playing very well, and then okay, unfortunately it happened. But this game here, we had nothing even close being business of trying like saying that we didn't deserve this tie.
Yeah.
We didn't deserve. We did not
No.
deserve this tie, but we did not play well. Anyways,
No, we didn't deserve the tie. We did not play well, and this is like the Sassuolo game. Just complete mental breakdown. Did not have any ideas in the final third. it brings me back to the banter era where we're continuously saying we had no options in the final third, and unfortunately, against an Udine team that was not a world beater on the day, they scored a goal because really we gave them the
We
goal.
gave him exactly.
But besides that, there was not much more.
Before we head into Serie A, Steve, thank you, Sonny, for being last minute getting this graphic here. So this is the right one, correct, Steve? This is the real one. They re-put the draw, and just comical. I don't know if you guys saw the memes going around around the internet today, how they screw up the draw. But this is the official draw, Steve. I know you wanted to touch base. How does it look to you? You got, for the Italian teams, Juventus, Villarreal, Inter, Liverpool. I know you and Presidente had not a heated argument, but you wanted to touch base on other Italian teams in the Serie A. But the floor is yours, sir.
Yeah, so the Champions League draw, the first one is very interesting. I like Real Madrid and Barcelona. Real Madrid and PSG going head to head. That's going to be fun. Messi going back to Real at the Bernabeu, and Ancelotti, who's coached both teams. So that's going to be cool. I think Liverpool got shafted, or and Inter got shafted, because I don't think they were drawn together in the first go around.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that I really want to see where Inter is at and how they match up against Liverpool. So I'll be watching that one. I'll also be very interested in how Cristiano Ronaldo and his very scrap Manchester United play against a very boring Atletico Madrid and Diego Simeone. I'll be very interested with that one. The rest, Juve, of course, the horseshoe of all horseshoes. I think they got one of, if not the weakest draw in the Champions League, and I think that they'll still make a meal of it, and they'll still have their fans stress over qualifying to the next round. But besides that, that's great. I'll be watching other games, unlike some of our other friends who decided that they don't watch Champions League if Milan's not in it.
But I was trying to understand. Like I couldn't watch. It doesn't mean I'm gonna cheer. I'm never gonna cheer for another Italian team.
No, of course,
but I'll
neither am
watch.
I.
I'll watch. Why wouldn't I watch Inter Liverpool? Why wouldn't I watch, even Juve Villarreal, to maybe, if we have to make fun of Juventus, at least I'll see it live. But so Presidente, Steve, it's a no-go for him. He does not watch. So he hasn't watched Champions League.
No, he hasn't watched it. Presidente sits down. He makes himself a nice fire with the 17 cords of wood that he brought in, and he chopped himself. He put some nice roasted chestnuts, also known as castagne, ready for him and the missus to get ready to watch. Not soccer. We'll watch. I don't know what could he possibly watch, Vinny? Golden Girls reruns.
I just yes, yeah. You know what? No, I think he's watching Knight Rider with Hasselhoff.
Maybe Knight
Because
Rider
he's got
team.
or the A team. But Steve, how did Presidente get? You're not supposed to burn wood anymore. How did they get away by the bylaws?
He has a special oven.
So special oven. So let's take it to Serie A, and Liban. Don't worry, we got you. So to Serie A we go, Stevie P. One half of the results. Which one did you want to start by looking? I watched a bit of the Venezia Juventus. I caught a bit of the Torino Bologna, but not to an extent to talk about. But anything comes to mind. Looking, you don't want to go straight to Juventus Venezia game.
No, but I watched a bit of the derby. Genoa is really bad.
My goodness,
Genoa is really bad.
Feel bad for Russia.
I really feel bad for him. He's really put in a really tough spot. I don't know how he's going to get them out of relegation. I don't know how Genoa thought that he was going to somehow save them. They're just very bad, and just again adding insult to injury. Sampdoria also put up 3 on them, so doesn't look good for Genoa. It looks like they're going down.
Torino, Bologna. Torino coming up with 3 points that they didn't need on that one. Bologna showing up late. again, but so Bologna, we're going to take a look in the stats, Steve. They're there, Bologna. They're there. But again, you never know. Like you were saying, you never know what kind of Bologna is going to show up. I think they're trying to do a la Lazio or but anyway, still up there. I don't know if you wanted to touch base on that or the Fiorentina. I don't know if you want to.
Fiorentina, guys. Fiorentina seems like they're gonna splash a bit of cash this winter, and possibly sign some players instead of what we've seen in the past couple of years, where they're getting rid of their best players or gifting them to Juve, alla Chiesa. They're sitting in fifth right now when we go to the standings. Vlahovic is gonna go, but he's gonna go after this year and for a ton of money. I think now, making fun of Fiorentina at the beginning of the year, it looks like they have a project, and that's encouraging for all Viola fans, because this has not existed in a while, and they've been a team that's really underperformed. And I think they're dynamic. I think they run at you. Again, it helps that they have under a 21-year-old striker that just keeps on scoring goals. Yes, they did play Salernitana, but we've seen in the past years Fiorentina lose these types of games, and then we would always say, "Wow, that's Fiorentina." And now it seems like they're winning these games.
You think they've adjusted? I'm not too convinced. Like I wouldn't be surprised to see Fiorentina, like maybe in the next. I don't see them as they've been consistent, but I don't know. Maybe we'll see how they play against.
There's another half a season. I'm saying from now that they're sitting in fifth place, it's pretty impressive for a team that we were making fun of, and we had, they wanted to start with Gattuso as coach, and he lasted like 3 days. So this is another. It's another situation. It's the same situation that Lazio had. They wanted to change manager. They were bringing in Bielsa. Last minute, he didn't want to come. They promoted Simone Inzaghi, and the rest was history.
And taking it to Venezia, Steve, 1-1. Allegri not very happy about this performance here. Venezia tying the game in the second half. I think it was Simeone again. Your takes.
You're getting mixed up with Hellas and Venezia.
Venezia did it 1-1.
Yeah, but there's no Simeone on Venezia.
Oh, Simeone, sorry. But anyways, 1-1. Did you watch this game? And is there even a laughing matter anymore?
No, it's a laughing matter. It's a laughing matter. And I encourage everybody who has Juventini fans and Juventini friends like myself to pick up the telephone, call your Juventini friends, because guys, I'm not gonna shock anybody here, but if you're a true soccer fan, which most Juventinis are not, no offense to anybody who thinks that they are, but the majority of the Juventini that I know, they stop watching when Juve is not in first place. They magically, their Fubu TV doesn't show the Juve games. You talk to them about it. Did you see how badly they played against Venezia? No, I didn't watch the game. I didn't have time. But for 10 fucking years, I had to hear them gloat about them being the Scudetto champions. 10 fucking years. Now you're telling me all of a sudden, now you don't have time? Now you don't have time? I call bullshit on that. So I'm sending this out to everybody who listens to our show from any other fan base other than Juventus. If you have a Juventini friend, pick up your phone and not text. True old school telefonata. Dial his fucking number. Don't even go in your contacts and dial his number. Dial the fucking number. Put him on the phone and ask him, hey, did you watch Venezia Juventus? I guarantee you he will say no. I guarantee you that he will not want to talk about this game. And I guarantee you that he will not admit that Juventus has a major problem.
And we do have those kind of Milan fans as well that they disappeared in the last 10 years. But these Juventinis, for real, we can't hear them anymore. I don't hear them chirping anymore. Sorry, I heard them chirp, Steve, because, hey, we qualified in the Champions League. And I'm like, but how are you even like like celebrate? Okay, so these are the kind of celebration because that's the only thing that you have is a celebration. So we'll give it to them. So Steve says, pick up the phone, not even in your contacts, dial it
Dial the number.
directly. uh yeah, but anything from this game, Steve, is just like, oh my god,
No, there was nothing. They
ça
just
va mal, ça va mal.
yeah, it's a game that Juve should win. Whether regardless of they're having a problem or not, there's something wrong in between the ears right now at Juventus, and it's throughout the entire team where they're not generating anything either.
No.
And it's lackluster performance after lackluster performance, and you get the 1-1 Venezia draw. And I understand Juve fans, you're used to winning. But when the cycle changes, like it changes, and trust me, Milan fans, especially the ones that have hung around for the last 10 years, can tell you the cycle is long. And if you don't have someone to right the ship, which I believe Juventus at this time do not have the right people in place to right the ship, Nedved and company is not going to help you here.
I'll be honest, Steve. I don't see a problem with Allegri. I don't think Allegri is the problem as because he is a good coach. Maybe it's the players and the mentality. I don't know, but if it continues this way here, they do have big problems. And I think this year, once again, they'll manage somehow, some way to make it towards maybe to the quarterfinals in Champions League, and again, will erase what's going on in the season. But again, if they don't make top four, and the way they're looking at right now, they ain't gonna make top four, Steve. And a Juventus will no Champions League next year. Maybe those numbers are gonna pop up in with even more details, right? So
the numbers will pop up. They need the top four, that's for sure. In the Champions League, I think maybe with getting Villarreal again, they tied against Venezia, so I cannot say that they're gonna pass Villarreal easy breezy, right?
No.
So I'm just being honest of what I've seen of Juventus. It's going to be a challenge for them. If they do not pass and if they do not make top four, I think it would be a mistake to sack Allegri. I think that they need to stick with Allegri and make sure that Allegri has some sort of budget to bring in players that he wants and he wants to mold. I think reading, and again, I know we're going on and on about Juventus, but it's important because I think Arthur he didn't make the team training on time, and I think it was because he was snowboarding. Like, these things don't happen at Juve, and these things, when they happen at Juve, they don't get out. So there's a problem.
Taking over to page 2. Verona Atalanta. This one now I can say Simeone, right, Steve? Verona Atalanta on this one. Atalanta winning. First ever team I saw on sports media set. Atalanta first team. It's the first time they have 5 wins in a row away from home. First time in their existence. But this one, I don't know if you caught a little bit, Steve. You wanted to?
I watched a little bit of Atalanta because I was very interested in Simeone once they took the lead. So I switched over to this one. Look, Atalanta's, again, my hatred for Atalanta is with Gasperini, is not with Atalanta, the team. He keeps on pushing the right buttons, though, this guy, and he gets kicked. He got kicked out of Champions League. Well, that's a little bit of a problem. Where I think they had a very winnable match against Villarreal, even though it got delayed by the snow. Again, in Serie A, 5 wins in a row, that's 15 points. It erases a very slow start to the season, and that's the type of runs that you need to stay up in the top 4. Milan has to be careful. They're at their heels, a better goal differential. They will pass us if we don't wake up. And again, we need to make it to the winter transfer market, and then a decision needs to be made by the Milan board of what they want to do, what kind of budget they want to give. But Atalanta's pushing the right buttons. I saw an article that was very interesting. Muriel wants more starting minutes, and of course, Inter, Juve, and Milan are interested, right?
Yeah.
So I know it's Mercato Madness a bit earlier, but I would love Muriel at Milan just because I think he fits in that kind of like right winger, second striker type of role.
Sassuolo Lazio. Steve,
Lazio sucks. Someone
fucking
again,
Sassuolo getting it done. Like
Yeah.
it just, what the fuck is going on with Lazio?
I thought it was Pepe Reina was keeping on screwing up my my Fantacalcio, but it's not Pepe Reina. It's any Lazio goaler that I have, because I also have Strakosha and nets. And it's not his fault, because I was watching a bit of that game too. I don't know if the Sarri ball is going to ever enter into these guys. I know that the last week I was reading a bit of a problem that Sarri thinks that he cannot play SMS and Luis Alberto at the same time. That has to change. And they have to stop trying to rely on Ciro Immobile for everything. But Lazio, again, dropping points against Sassuolo. Again, a good Sassuolo. They beat us. They did lay an egg again the week after, but they did beat us. So I'm going to give them that respect. But I think Lazio's in trouble too.
And then I just like the sound. Steve, Super Hakan van Basten. Obviously,
this has to stop. This is fucking ridiculous. I can't take this shit anymore.
They've been talking about him like he's the next coming of Christ.
And I'm not even blaming Inter fans. Honestly, he's an Inter player. For me, I think they should have the right to cheer for their team.
Yes.
What drives me crazy is the media who takes a performance, an Inter was obviously much stronger than Cagliari, because Cagliari is terrible.
You have to beat Cagliari for nothing. Yeah.
Cagliari is terrible, and Walter Mazzari is the second worst coach that I have seen in my lifetime. He falls second place to Ventura. Ventura number 1, Mazzari number 2. Of worst coaches that I've seen, he's terrible. He doesn't know how to adjust. He doesn't know, like, who did he think he was facing this weekend?
Yeah,
I don't know. Did he watch Inter? Has he ever watched Inter play? He basically fell into their hands. He said, you know what? I'm coming here to the San Siro. I'm going to play soccer, and I don't care how many goals I'm going to get scored on. If it's not for Grango, I can't pronounce his name. I was pronouncing his name perfectly before this fucking podcast, but if it's not for Cagliari's keeper, this game ends at least 7-0. At least. And he stops the penalty shot. Again, seriously. I have Lautaro Martinez and Fantacalcio, and he screwed me again.
I'm sorry if I'm giving you all these mush vibes, Steve, because we're friends. Maybe it's because I don't gamble anymore and you're just taking all my bad luck.
No, but back to my point, I went a little bit sidetracked because Mazzari sucks that bad. But what this Hakan thing, what pisses me off, is that the media just have to create this toxic where we need to talk about it. Like against Cagliari, he really didn't do much, guys. I'm gonna be honest with you. They called him man of the match. He really didn't do much.
A goal and an assist.
All sorts of negative passes. Yeah, his assist came on a corner kick. You know what, Vinny? If you take enough corner kicks in your life and you plop them in an area, this is the same thing when they go crazy when Tonali makes an assist from a corner kick or a free kick. Yeah, it takes some talent to deliver it, but you're delivering it to a spot. Someone else has to do all the work to put the ball in the net.
And you got quality strikers at Inter.
Yeah, and he had Lautaro who got up there and put it back. Like, again, they're making this so... They're making it almost like a clickbait article for Milan fans to say, oh, you know what? Hakan sucks. And for Inter fans to come back and say, Hakan's good. Guys, my answer to all Interistas, I don't care about Hakan. I don't follow him. I hate him. I think he's a terrible player.
And guess who gave us another question out of the blue on Patreon questions?
I know, because I talk to him all the time. I heard from him the first game. This is Francis the Snake. Then I didn't hear from him for a month. Now all of a sudden, Hakan's the man of the match. I'm hearing from him again. And not only man of the match, they gave him man of the month. But if he remembers, and I sent him the article, With Milan, he also got a man of the month. It was a month later. It was
Well,
the December man of the month. But then you don't see him again.
I think it was that first month with Ibra, right? That he was on fire. It was just like left, right, and center, and then he just disappeared. So we'll see. Yes, Interistas, you're allowed to cheer on your team, but enough with these clickbaits on Hakan. Uh, Steve, Napoli. This one was a surprising one. At home, Empoli. Petagna scored, if I'm not mistaken. Are you, as a Napoli, if you're a Napoli fan, do you start break glass in case of emergency? How are you
Yeah, but
taking
hold
these?
on. You're
Yeah.
mixing me up. Napoli 0, Empoli 1. Gol di Cutrone, not Petagna.
Cutrone, sorry, Cutrone. So ex Milanese, that's why I was on the right path. But do you sound the alarm?
Well, Napoli is just getting. I think they lost Insigne too. He seems like he's injured. They're having injury problems too. But again, I'm gonna repeat what I repeat in all the chats that I'm in. I don't feel bad for Napoli. I don't feel bad for Lazio. I don't feel bad for Roma. These are teams that, for the longest time, have been complaining that they're not deep enough and that they're constantly playing and rotating the same players. So let's remove Roma from the equation because they don't even have 11 players to start. They need another 9 in the winter mercato if they want to compete. You go to Lazio, and Lazio are relying always on the same players. Bring in a coach, don't give him the players that he needs, and they're complaining. And Napoli, the same thing. So, like, these guys have had windows for the past 9 years to get their shit together and be in a much better spot, much better than where Milan is right now.
Mm-hmm.
Now, for us, we're complaining, and I'm complaining. I don't want to talk for anybody else, but now I'm at the point where I'm at second place now. Last year was second place. I wanted to get better, and I want to win the Scudetto. What is Elliott going to do for me? That's where I'm at right now.
And finishing off, Roma winning today 2-0. And looking at this, Roma with the 3 points today at 25. So you have Lazio, Roma, Empoli, in the 25 and 26 points. Thank you to the beautiful graphics by Mr. Sunny with the Presidente's input. But a lot of people were saying too, you know what? We just gave up first place to Inter. That's it. They're just gonna ride the wave. Look, guys, there's still 21 games to go. Atalanta right there, Napoli, even though they took those losses still at 36 points, then you got Fiorentina there, Juve at 28. And that bottom three, Steve, do you think that is changing until the end of the year?
I don't remember the points right on top of them there, but
The way they've been performing, Genoa, Cagliari.
Maybe Venezia slides into that bottom three, but I would not be able. I forget about Salernitana, but I don't know who's worse right now, if it's Cagliari or Genoa, and who can get out of that bottom three. But if I would pick a team to slide back into the bottom three, it would be Venezia. And who can come out, I have no idea. I wish I could bet on that if I knew the answer, but I don't know because Genoa and Cagliari are both terrible.
But I just love looking at, the top four specifically and the amount of points between everybody. It's going to be an exciting run this year. And finally, right, because we haven't had this kind of excitement. Yes, last year we had, but the past 10 years. So hopefully they keep battling out until the end of the season, because that's what we like to see. Anything to add on this? So let's go straight to the questions.
Questions it is.
Let's go back to here we go. And to the Patreon questions. Gio saying, keep up the great work, guys. I need Stevie P to send out a PSA to Masara. We need to sign that kid Parisi from Empoli. So Steve, I think they saw your video that was a Milan Club Boston that did of you repeating, we need a right wing. So personal service announcement to Masara, the kid Parisi from Empoli. Do you know any of this kid there, Steve?
No, I watched a bit of the Empoli game, but I would be lying to you if I said that I knew and followed him there. I'm gonna go one bigger than that, and I think Gio, looking at that question, for me, it's more than that. I get where you're going, and I get you're trying that model that we've been used to for the past 2 years, there, Gio, where we're trying to find these diamonds in the rough. Guys, we're so close. We're really close.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, there was a comment that I put up there. It's from NM. Look at Inter's goal difference. Yes, that alone is very impressive. We have to give them credit. I think they're plus 28.
Yep.
So the thing
Plus-
is that they're only 1 point in front of us. So goal differential, yes, matters, but in the end, it's the points that count, right? So I want to know what Milan's doing. I know today was an article, and again, discussion in the different chats that I'm in, where we have some people, and I agree. It's run like a business. It's a business now. You cannot just spend. Yes, but what I'm pissed off at is that everybody else does it. Everybody else does it. Why can't Milan do it? You're close. And because you're so close, if you don't do it, and if you don't spend and win the championship, then I myself cannot save you from the same criticism that I've been giving Napoli, Roma, Lazio for the past 10 years. The window is there. Elliott Fund has always been criticized as, hey, they're just in it for the business to make money, and I get it. I also understand that the Scudetto in Serie A doesn't do you any favors. It gives you like 20-something million dollars. I think Elliott has 20-something million dollars like in his left drawer of his desk. So it's not for the money. Right now, what I'm trying to just, my thought process and my thing is that this is Milan. This is our brand, guys. We are a brand of not finishing in fourth place, looking for fourth spot. We are a brand that we want to win championships. And you're close. It's going to be 2 years in a row, Vinny, you're close. Last year, we made a mistake. And we finished second at the last day. The last day. I don't want to go through that stress. If you tell me the Scudetto is decided the last day and we can possibly finish first and fourth place is safe, I want that stress. But not the stress of finishing fourth.
And I think the difference between last year to this year, Steve, is that last year at winter time, I could understand their thinking. We're good the way we are because we're coming off a very good run. We're in first place, but I don't remember how many points. The Champions League this year, in this little bad stretch that we're going, is a proof that we do not have what it takes to go all the way and deal with the injuries and all. So they're going to have to move. And I know a couple of questions are going to be about that, so we're going to get into it. But I like the difference between last year to this year. Hopefully, right? And maybe we'll get you to do a perfect public service announcement when we have more rumors in the mercato to Masara. The Snake, Francis. Good evening, gentlemen. Seeing the way Inter has been playing football in the last month, do you think Milan will ever get a taste of first place again? Do you reckon this is the best football any Italian side has played since Sarri's Napoli?
Look,
do we even answer?
They are.
No,
they
are. Yeah.
Right now, they are the best team, and they do play attractive football. But again, I don't care about attractive football. I care about who ends up in first place. Play Sarri ball and never got him any titles.
That's true.
He had to move to Juve to get a title for Sarri ball to work, and it wasn't even Sarri ball. It was Ronaldo who saved him. So, I don't care about attractive football. I don't care about being lucky. I don't care about bounces. I don't care about anything. In the end, I want to win the Scudetto.
And I think
this team at this point can win the Scudetto? Milan? No, they cannot. And I said it from the beginning. We need a fucking right wing, we need a striker, and we need a center back. And the center back, I'm going to give credit to I forgot to put that tweet on. But I'm gonna come back to you once you start talking. I'm gonna give credit to the person who jarred this in my memory when I saw it today, because I too was someone who said, maybe we can skip the center back for the winter transfer. I don't think we could skip the center back for the winter transfer anymore.
No. Thank you, Francis. To our newest Patreon Iron Cut. With Inter drawing Liverpool and Juve expected to be shit for the rest of the season, I'm expecting all Italian teams back to playing only Serie A by the end of February. Do you think this makes it more difficult, if not impossible, for us to win the league? Also, where can I stream Serie A in English in Europe?
Martino. Shout out to
Martino. Iron Cut, maybe you want to send a message on the Patreon. I'm sure a couple of guys will be able to send you some streams in there. And Steve, I have to admit, the Milan Weekly Podcast Patreon WhatsApp group, it's actually pretty good. It's not messages all day long, so far so good. But Steve, do you think if he's saying that he doesn't expect Inter or Juve to go far in the Champions League, do you think maybe on your notes, like, is it impossible for us to win the league? Well, if it is possible, it's not without getting any players, right? Touch base against
we need to upgrade. They need the team right now. The ownership needs to show the fans a little bit of
gratitude.
It's gratitude. It's they speak about bringing up the brand and they're building it on the commercial side for the business. Now you need to show the fans that you're building on the results side, on the championship side, and by spending a bit of money. Again, myself and Presidente, we don't see eye to eye on this stuff. He sees it like an accountant. I see it like a fan. At a certain point, take your accounting books, throw them in the garbage, and let's go and let's try to address the problems that we have for now, not band-aids, for now and for the future. So that this year, maybe you take a little bit of a loss and you win the Scudetto a la Inter, because they did it.
Mm-hmm.
They did it, and we complained, and we bitched, and we said they were not going to be competitive this year. And guess what? They're competitive again. And if they win again this year, what are we going to say?
It's true, Steve. It's true. So, what else do we have? Fabio, hey boys, another week in the books. Firstly, let me say what a joke of a draw from UEFA today. I'm glad Inter and Juve got a worse draw in the second turn. I do see Inter as the favorite if Maldini and company do not add reinforcements to push us over the edge. There are moments where you need to take advantage of dominant teams losing form. Inter will have their own tough stretch. There's no reason Milan can jump back in the lead. Would you be upset if the attack and reinforcements end up being just wait for Leao and Rebic to come back from injury?
Yep. Disappointed, totally disappointed. The Caldara back to replace a center back, disappointed.
It's because I think, and Fabio might be right on that one, that they're gonna be maybe manipulating the fans to go, yeah, there are two signings and we'll see what happens in January. But yeah, Fabio, I would be disappointed as well. Ryan saying, hey, Vinny and Steve, in a few short months, Milan has become so wobbly in all areas in the field. Clearly, we need reinforcements in January, but unfortunately, I think Elliott will be stingy. My question is, if we only afford one quality signing, what department do you think Milan will go bang for your buck, in your opinions? And touching base too with Derek saying, do you think there will be an investment in the market this January? If so, which positions? So, okay, Steve, if we could only afford one quality one, and they decide to, they're going to splash the cash and not a substitute, a real replacement, a center back for years to come. If it is a center back, what would you do if you're Massad and Maldini? They tell you you can only pick one position.
They have to go where they're the least prepared for the future, I think, right now. And again, you've signed Messias and you have Salchicha Maker there on the right wing, which, again, let's repeat, we need a right wing. We need a right wing. That's for Jesse to make another video. But we need a striker. We need someone. If something would happen, knock on wood, to Zlatan right now, we have no one to play up top.
They have a Primavera player that went to train this week. But
Primavera player, whatever, that's great. I know. I don't want to see these compilations of Colombo scoring at Spal in Serie B. Guys, you want to win the Scudetto? It's time you have to spend. You're going to spend on something quality that's not a Band-Aid. Go replace where you're where you're the weakest. And the weakest is at striker, where you have a 40-year-old who's saving you against a team like Udine. On the right wing, there's options, guys. There's options. There Macias, South Chichamaker, they're not the best.
Castileo at this point.
Castileo, their option. And worst case scenario, our best Rosa is convincing Rebic to try to play the right wing. And if he plays the right wing and you have Leao, Diaz, and Rebic with Ibra up top, guys, that's something that's very interesting. But why they've never tried Rebic on the right wing, that I don't know. But I personally, if you tell me that question, where do you spend? I spend where you're the weakest, and right now we're the weakest at the striker position.
And at center back, Steve, your alternatives will be what? Kalulu?
Yeah,
Maybe
if this is again, if we're only spending on one position,
yes,
right?
it's always on one position.
Yeah, if it's one position, then it's again, it's you're gonna have to pray that Romagnoli, Tamori, Gabbia, and a wild card of Kalulu could get you through from January on, because Kajar is not coming back.
Paulie says, good evening, Vinny and Steve. Do you think it's a good thing we are out of Europe? We don't have the squad for two competitions. If we reach top four for 2-3 seasons, that is the best we can aim for until we get the sufficient Champions League funds to invest in improved starting 11 and deeper squad. Forza Milan. You think it's a good thing we're out of Europe?
No, I never think it's a good thing out of Europe. I believe that the more Europe you play, the more you get accustomed to playing it. Europa League, guys, we have to face it. There's one team that wins the Champions League, and the teams in Serie A. And again, this year, I'm going to give just a little shout out. I think Inter is very dangerous. Tough draw against Liverpool, but very dangerous. Again, I think no Italian team is ready to win the Champions League for now and for the next 5 years at least, especially if the league doesn't fix itself. So, guys, Europa League is not too shabby. It gets you an entry into the Champions League. It gets you extra money. Yes, you have to play more, but let's not be snobby about just Champions League football, because Europa is what was known as the UEFA Cup, and it's something that to win, it's another prestigious trophy. It's not the Champions League, but let's face it, you don't have the money to dance with the PSGs, the Manchester Cities, the Bayern Munichs, the Liverpools, the Chelseas. So I rambled off 5 teams just like that. That means you're not even making the quarterfinal.
And playing, let's say, in the Europa League, Steve, and you're in a situation the way we are right now with the injuries, now you're kind of forcing management's hand to go, look, we need these players. There's none of this like, oh, we're just playing once a week. And Coppa Italia starts when? Is it February? I think with those rounds. Anyways.
But look, it's the more games you play. You know what? Would it have killed us an extra 2 games in Europa League where, hey, we're injured and we try Robaxes up top and give him some minutes, you understand? And say, hey, we're giving you some European minutes. You're someone who comes from our academy, Daniele Maldini, go play. We don't care about the result.
No,
if you come out and you're honest and you tell we're gonna give some chance for the kids to play, those are great minutes in Europe, and you're not getting tired. Your starters are rested, and hey, if they pull out a result, you give them some other time.
Robax is it. On Twitter, we have Forza Domi saying, beyond Marco Nasti, are there any other Primavera players who could be utilized? Traore, many thanks. I can't really, for me, Steve, I don't follow the Primavera that religiously, but do you know any other players or the one that we just called up?
Right now, it's not Primavera time, guys. You can look to Primavera all you want. Primavera is, in my opinion, a dime a dozen that could come up in the middle of the season and really change something.
Yeah.
A dime a dozen. If anything, it has to be players that start with the team from the beginning of the year.
Johnny Ariema says, what is the biggest reason for a sudden dip in form in players who were previously performing dipping down in form? I believe with Calabria and Rebic out, we lack grinta and balance. The deepest reason for our sudden dip, and we will have Derek possibly next week, Steve, that he's going to explain all these muscular injuries and where they come from, and il polpaccio, all the stuff. But the sudden dip, Steve, well, you're not going to be ascending.
There's no real reason. It's a combination of things. I know people love to blame injuries, but it's injuries. People need to step up. There's all the cliche words. It's a matter of time that a team like this that's not as deep does decline a bit, but the amount of players we're missing and all at the same time is just a recipe for disaster, right? And it's not an excuse. The thing is that you're asking players to step up where they're getting starting roles now when they would be players who would come in to close off a game, a la Krunic. Salchicha Maker and Macias, yes, they flip flop starting roles, but they're not gonna be world beaters anytime. I'm very surprised that against Udine, Kalulu didn't get any minutes.
Yeah,
for me, that's I don't understand that. Like, I get the whole Florenzi thing, and I think against Udine too, he was not bad, but Florenzi is not our answer here. So
no, very well. And who else? Forza Domi again with a couple of questions. If you were guaranteed 1 goal per game, but Milan would play down a man, would you take it? No. I don't know about you, Steve. If we're guaranteed, we start the game always 1-0, but we have to play down to 10 men.
Well, we're kind of already at 10 men. Ibra doesn't do very much.
He says, if no, then why does Pioli insist on Ibra for 90 minutes? Sorry.
Because
Well,
he scores in the 92nd minute.
and I was with Bizak at Chocharo's, and we saw that he's just walking at the end, right, Ibra? And we were looking at each other, and it's like, no, you can't take him off because he's the only one right now that could get you that goal, right? And who else are you going to be putting on there? So I don't know why he insists, because there is no other options for now. And all right, so that's good for questions. Stevie P, indigestion, brioches of the week. I'm definitely gonna have to go with the Macias jersey thing. That was that was a bit embarrassing.
That's your indigestion, not your brioche.
My indigestion. Sorry, I'm not even drinking. I don't have the excuse of being all confused. How about you, Steve?
Indigestion of the week. It's a combination of things. One, I really dislike the commentators on DAZN, and I'm gonna explain to you why. I get it. As someone, and it's obviously they're from England, right? That's not a secret, right? But I've watched a lot of Italian broadcasts, and as much as they're Italian, they're professional about the game that's being played. And they're knowledgeable about the game that's being played. These guys here, with all due respect, know dick fuck all about Serie A, have absolutely zero knowledge of where Milan is, have absolutely zero knowledge of the teams behind Milan, chasing them in the thing. For them, they saw Milan as first place. Oh my God, Liverpool reserves beat first place in Serie A, Italian Serie A giants. It's like, I get it, but can you do your research and, throw in the fact that, hey, they're missing a shit ton of players. Hey, they're not in the best form. Like, the constant disgustingness. And you know what? DAZN with Serie A was, again, I cannot be more honest. The platform itself was something that was great for Serie A. There was a lot of options. There was a lot of things to do. And I'm not discrediting Fubo because I'm enjoying watching it on Fubo too. But it's two different platforms. But unfortunately, the negativity, and especially of a league that you're kind of sponsored with, and this was last year too, Vinny.
They sound condescending, and that's where my problem is. Where you bring up a good point. You're talking about the Italian commentators. We will be guilty of cheering when Italy scores, but I've never heard of a condescending comments towards the other club, the other country. I don't understand where the commentary of the reserves, the Liverpool reserves get to beat Italian first place. But where's that in the comments, right? And even throughout the whole game, you just heard it, and I was laughing because I was watching the feed from England, which is the exact same feed that the AZN takes. I think it's BT Sports people. It was just it's really it's embarrassing if
Yeah,
you're a
and I don't
commentator.
think, and you know what, Italians were known to be pig-headed too, and I don't think that would happen, Vinny. I don't think if it would be vice versa, and if it would be Italians commentating on something like that it would be that bad. Because it's to the point where you want to shut off the TV. Like, I don't want to hear it anymore.
Yeah.
Not because I'm afraid of the insults, and not because, are they right the majority of the time. It's fine,
I,
but
I'm
I'm
not,
there for you to listen to you commentate on the game.
and I'm not watching the Milan TV feed. I am not watching the Liverpool feed.
Exactly.
I am watching an international broadcast that is broadcast throughout the world. And what kind of, again, with the condescending and just like we're superior and they just made it feel inferior. And, you know, we can take shots on, a couple of jabs here, but it's been quite ridiculous. Like, especially when I don't know if they do it for other countries or, maybe I should double check. But yeah, it's pretty condescending.
I wouldn't think so. I think they're still pissed that we fucked them over in Wembley.
And Brioche of the week.
Feel good moment of the week is very hard to find there, Vinny. I really didn't have a lot to take from.
Can I give you your?
Yeah, you can try, but again, for me, it's tough this week.
How about fellow Milan club member, his daughter, starting to do little bracelets to help out our friend Jason for to help for for the donations, the GoFundMe. That's a good moment. I know it's not soccer related, but it's related to
No,
our
that's
friend and
that,
his.
that's a great. That's Frank and his daughter making bracelets to raise money for Jason DiTullio's GoFundMe page. Fantastic initiative. Great. My orders placed with her. Waiting for Frank to get back to me with that. Yeah, that's great. That's a fantastic brioche of giving back and showing, not just Milan cutters, but humanity, a
Exactly.
human side.
So once again, guys, we got until Sunday. I'm gonna gather up some funds directly to the Toy and Food Drive to Milan Club members that would like to join us to help out. We will be there, I'm saying, until 1:30ish, give or take. Give us time to get our cars, drive to Chocharo's, and we will all be at Chocharo's for the game. We still have half a bottle of grappa, Steve. By the way, it's still there on reserve. So anything else before we let everybody go?
Yeah, my message is to Milan and Maldini and Masada. If you're hearing us, this is the English content side of it. Guys, we as a Tifoseria want to see victories. We want to see the Scudetto. And if it's not enough that Inter will reach 20 Scudettos before Milan and have a second star on their shirt, and using a formula where they almost put themselves in debt to get there, then I don't know what else we can do as fans to enlighten this fire that we have to be victorious and we be Scudetto champions again. So this is the English side. I'm pretty sure you're getting all kinds of comments in Italian, but on this side of the pond, if I could speak for everybody who wears this red and black, and we have our jerseys in the back here, Shevchenko, Kaká. Guys, this is the time that we watched. We watched these guys lift Champions Leagues and Scudettos.
We want to see it one more time. So so maybe we should start these public service announcements to Masar Maldini via Stevie P of the MWP. Guys, thank you so much for joining. We shall see each other next Monday after the Toy and Food Drive, after the Milan Napoli game. We need those 3 points. We need to get back into it and wake the fuck up in January, guys. Ovunque e sempre.
Forza Milan!
Ciao, guys.